Hello everybody. In this video I'm going to teach you how to replace the digitizer in a Garmin Nuvi 650, 660, 670 and 680 GPS. They're all exactly the same. And let me tell you what's wrong with these GPS units. All these GPS units seem to have the same exact problem, and that is that the touch screen, the digitizer, will stop respond. So this is probably a factory defect which was never taken care of, or maybe some type of aging that causes this to happen when the unit ages, because this is a good 15-20-year-old GPS. This, and one of the very nice designs, actually it's one of the best GPS units, because this GPS it's equipped with a flip antenna, and the flip antenna's benefit is that you have, if you're in a place where you have weak satellite reception, this comes in really handy because it will give you very strong signal. Now obviously right now I'm indoors, so you see no signal right here because I'm indoors. Anyways, so watch, this is not working and we are going to learn how to replace it. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is unplug it and turn it off. Okay, so turn off it doesn't work. The touch screen doesn't work, so I have to wait for it to turn off, or I can press and hold the power button to turn it off manually. To open it, you have to open the flip antenna first, like that. It opens. Now you need to use a T5 hex head or star-shaped screwdriver, and you need long nails. I'm sorry about my nails. You have to have long nails to open the shell. So I'm going to open this. These screws are being opened temporarily, and you are going to be putting them back in. Okay, it's just temporarily. Now you just slightly open this, insert the screw right here, and slide it that way. Okay, so I'm going to zoom a little bit here so you can see better. Let me remove this and show you. So I'm going to slide this, watch, like that. Okay, so you have to be very careful because that thing flies. Once you slide it, the spring flies. I happen to be lucky to catch it before it went too far. Okay, so I'm going to explain the mechanism, how this works. Basically, this is right here, that's where this is. And when you insert your screwdriver here, you're simply sliding this way. So basically, when you're sliding it this way, this will come out of here. This is currently like in there, right? So let me get this camera a little bit this way so you can see better. There. So basically it's like that, and you are doing this. Basically, let me show you so you know exactly what's happening here. So you are doing this. That's what you're doing to release this. Okay, that's the mechanism behind it. Now this will go here. Zoom out. And now I'm going to snap this back in. Put these screws back in. I don't need to have this all apart. Put the other screw back in. I don't need to have more loose components and lose them. Now watch this. This is a very delicate cable. You don't want to break it, so you have to fold it. Fold it this way, like that, to open these. Okay. You need to open these two screws. I'm gonna show you from a different angle also, so you can get a perspective. This way you could see how long these screws are. These screws are pretty long screws. They're not short screws. There. Okay, so both screws have been opened. Now this is very critical. You don't let it like stay loose, because you will damage the cable. So what I recommend is put it in place without the spring, but put it in place and use a piece of tape like this, fold one edge and put it here, so you can easily remove it when you have to, so this doesn't fall. And now it doesn't go anywhere because it's already attached from this edge, and this was the loose edge which you have already covered. Now it's time to remove the front frame. The front frame is easily removed. You just have to insert your nails and basically like separate it like this. Insert the nails and separate it like this. Okay, watch. There, and you do the same on this edge, and we have it separated. Okay. Now, notice how easily I opened it. It's not that easy. I am doing it so easily because I have a lot of practice. I fixed nearly 100 of these. So don't get upset if you couldn't do it easily. I fixed quite a few of these. All right. So now we have to open 1, 2, 3 cables. These cables, this is backlight cable, this is video cable, and this is the digitizer or touchscreen cable. Each one of these are separate cables, but we have to unplug all of them in order to change the digitizer. Each one opens in different manner. This one, you have to see that black little thing piece, you have to flip it very gently because that thing breaks so easily. So you have to, it's like this, in this position, you have to do it, push it this way, but very gently. I'm going to zoom in again. Let me zoom in. Watch how gentle you have to be. There. See that? See how delicate that is? See how small and delicate that is? This piece right here. Okay, now the cable slides out. Easily slides out. There. Put it back in place just so it doesn't break, because it can easily break. Okay. The second one, this and this, opens the opposite way. They are in this position, currently in this position, and you open it this way. Okay, watch. Very gently with your nail. You could do it with your nail. Okay, and this one. So once again, watch. This is the flap that I open. This is the lock position. This is the open position. This is the lock position. And this is the open. Be very careful because these could be easily disengaged from the socket. And if it is disengaged, it's so difficult to put it back together. So you have to be extremely careful with that. Very careful. Okay. So now we are done with this side of the equation. We have to work on this side. Okay. This side, we have to remove the screen from the frame. How do we do that? You push the frame forward a little bit, upwards, and slide it out. Here, you push these little hooks up and slide it out. Here, do the same. Push the hook. The hook is like this, so you have to push it like this. Okay? And slide it out. Once you have disengaged the screen, let's see what's holding up the screen. Something is holding the screen here. Let's see. Okay. So now our screen has been opened nice and easily. This is the frame. Set the frame aside. This is where we need to replace the digitizer. To replace the digitizer, we have to separate the front and back of the screen. You could do that using a simple knife. Any knife would work, but watch how we do it. Be careful not to hurt your hand, or cut your hand, I should say. This, again, I did it easily because I have practice, but it's not that easy as I did it. I mean, it's you're going to be probably struggling with it. This is your screen. So be very careful not to touch this because you will have fingerprints and it's very hard to clean. This will go, you have to set this aside. Set it aside, you have no business with it. This is where you have to do business, okay? This is where we will be working on. Let me put this on the side here. Okay, first thing, we have to remove these tapes. Actually, it's a little sponge type of thing. It's not even tape. Okay. Just again, see, the long nails come in handy. In this business, long nails come in handy. So let's see. All right. So this is, my screen is nearly free of sticky tape. And now next step is to separate the frame from the glass. The glass, in this case, it's easy because the glass is not shattered. But if it is shattered, it's going to be tricky because there will be all kinds of lines and cracks. But since it's not, this will be an easier task. For that, I'm going to have to zoom out a little bit because I'm going to need a heat gun. A heat gun. You need a heat gun. All right. So I'll turn it on at low temperature, not at high. Set it like this so that hot air comes up. The hot air must come up. Get your good old knife and start separating the glass from the frame by inserting the knife between the glass and the frame, but you can only do it after it heats up. Make sure to heat it up evenly because if this corner gets too hot, the screen will develop cracks. And once it does develop cracks, it's going to be really, really difficult to remove. So you don't want to have cracks, okay? All right. There, I developed a crack. Very bad, very bad. But it's inevitable. Those are the things that are inevitable. Actually, I'm glad I developed a crack because this way you see how difficult it becomes when you have a cracked screen. Okay. There you go. I'm going to turn it off. And let's see. There. This is your damaged screen, or the touch screen doesn't work on this. We have a crack. Who cares? Make sure you wrap it with newspaper when you throw it away because it could cut someone. And actually, it could cut the garbage bag in which you're throwing it away. This is my brand new screen, the brand new replacement screen. So I'm going to put this aside and work with the new one. With the new screen, you have to remove, from the old screen, you have to remove these sticky, double-sided sticky tape which was holding the screen, because the new one already comes with a double-sided sticky. I'm going to remove this. I'm done with the knife. There's no more knife business. I'm going to zoom in now. Yeah, a little zoom out there. Okay. So now this has to be attached right here. To do that, first thing we need to do is remove the protective film in the back. First, you remove the protective film, and then the protective plastic around the glue. They're two separate things. And in my case, they came out together. But normally, this transparent film is for the glue around the screen, and this is for the actual glass. Okay, so two different things. Now I'm going to remove the protective glass from the front. Normally you do this at the end, but it's going to be very hard once you put the tape, which I'm going to show you. So I'm removing the protective film from the front of the screen. Do not pull it this way because you will damage the plastic touchscreen. Always pull it this way, like this. Sideways. Always pull it sideways, like this, because it will bring substantial amount of pressure on that plastic, which is the actual touchscreen plastic, and you don't want that to happen. So now we have no protective screen protection or protective plastic on either side of the screen or the glass or the digitizer. Now it's time for us to put it back in place. Let's put this puppy back in place. There you go. It's in place. And now it's time for us to bring this part of the screen and put this on the top. Snap it back in place. That little is residue, is glue residue on this side, so I don't have to worry. I can clean it later. It would be really bad if it would have been on the other side, so I would have had to clean it before putting it back together, but there you go, it's now cleaned. Good to go. All right, now we have to put electrical tape around it in the replacement of the foam that was around it, foam tape, because foam tapes are very hard to come by. So I'm going to teach you an easy replacement, which is the good old electrical tape. Now this is a very large spool of electrical tape. Normally they're small like this when you buy them. So you don't have to have a lot of it. All you need is a foot, and that should cover all around the screen. So you have to cut this much. Let me get my scissors. If it's a little short, a little over, you don't have to worry. You can cut it later, and if it's a little short, you don't have to worry either. Okay? Make sure that when you put the tape, it doesn't overlap, it doesn't come on the screen itself, just on the edges where the silver lining is, because if it comes on the screen itself, what happens is it will press the screen unintentionally, and you will have calibration issues, and you will have the screen clicking on itself or clicking icons on itself by itself, which is actually caused by the pressure of the tape, because your tape is touching the touch screen. So make sure that your touch screen is all the way in the edge, all the way, not exceeding or coming over the silver lining around the screen. Okay, so this one I'm gonna cut right here to flip it here, and then I'm gonna cut right here and flip it up this way. Gives it more structural integrity. And now we will cut another piece for this side. There you go. It's not overlapping. Make sure it's not, and I made sure it doesn't overlap. There. See, it didn't reach all the way to the edges. That's fine. You don't have to. As long as the screen doesn't move this way and this way, and it's firmly in place, that's more than enough for it to be firmly in place. Okay, one last piece. One last piece. Okay, in this case it's too long. I'm gonna cut it shorter. It was too long. Okay, all of it looks fine. No overlapping, nothing. If you do see like minor overlap, push it with your hand. Push it away from the center. See, as I'm doing right now, making sure a little bit of silver is visible. Otherwise, you will have clicks by itself on that edges. Okay, now we will put it here. See that this is the bottom, this is the top, and these cables go to the bottom side. All these cables to the bottom side. So this is how it should be put in place. Okay, so the bottom goes in first, the top snaps in, because on the top there are those little hooks that will hold it. Now you have to hold these a little far when you push it in, like that. Push these little hooks, and then pull the top out as you snap it in, like that. Put your fingers here, your nails, to make sure the tape goes underneath the hook. There. Everything looks good. It looks very nice, very fine. Now I'm going to open this very nice and easily. Carefully. I'm going to zoom in again because this is very critical. Very critical. Okay, so open it very nicely. This is the little needle. You don't have to use the needle, but that's the only tool I had handy right there. Now I'm going to push this one in first. Make sure it's pushed all the way, like pushed in all the way before you close the flap. Basically, this flap is in this position and you have to close it like this. Here it's in this position and you have to close it like this. Here it's in this position, you have to close it this way. Okay? Now I'm going to put this cable in. Okay, 2 cables are in, and for the last one I recommend using a long nose plier because it's so critical, so critical. Okay, you have to hold it while you close this. There. Okay, now I'm going to turn it on. Before I completely close it and put the screws, I will turn it on and test it. Let's zoom out. Oh, the screen flickering, don't worry about that. That's because the brightness is set at lower brightness. That's why it's flickering. Once you go full 100% brightness, it's not going to be flickering. Okay, so now we have a working touchscreen again. So let's do the brightness 100%, and there you go, 100% brightness, no flickering. When you reduce the brightness, the screen flickering begins. Anyway, so screen is up and running, everything works. I'm gonna put the screws now. So I'll remove this, turn off. Now again, be very careful with this. Fold it this way, very, very gently. Take these longer screws. Remember you had smaller screws which we put back already. These are the longer ones. Okay, and you put this here. See that? See how that goes in? Put this one first and then this one. And voila! We have a up and running unit with a working touchscreen in less than what? Less than 30 minutes. All right. Okay. I hope this was educational. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.